So. Hey.
Hi, sir.
If you want to speak, you have to sign in.
Okay, is there a copy? I did read the minutes from last month.
Okay. You want last month's minutes?
Yeah.
Or the, well, we're just approving those two. But there is, yeah. Okay, there's an extra one here.
Yeah, next one.
So that cathedral, did they get the fire out then?
It said it was cooling.
It was
The
cool.
2 towers were saved. I
Okay.
just, my phone lost service for some reason, but I got to read it before it went out.
Maybe because you're in Flensburg. But it's cooling, meaning that they must have got it out then.
Yeah, they got the cool. Yeah, it was cooling.
Okay,
The 2
good,
towers
good,
were saved.
good.
Hi, Amber.
Amber's our newest member on our council, so. Yeah.
These were in the mailbox if anyone wants one.
Go run it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brad, Kenny?
Do I look at that before I return it to her? She didn't have a public copy, just for the council members. Thank you.
Greg, have you told him?
When you're, if you have last month's meeting, when he's done, if I could borrow it?
Sure.
No hurry, just I'd like to look at it.
Just.
Search.
Searching. Oh,
That's T-Mobile.
okay. Perfect, thank you.
I like your jacket.
Sorry, you're good.
So close today.
Is that start to do that?
Good.
Good.
We'll be back in quite a while.
Okay.
There's pretty full time,
Yeah.
2-3 people at any given day, so, yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities right now.
She
So,
posted something on her Facebook.
What else is next finding for you?
She and her
oh yeah,
sister go.
oh yeah, most definitely. It's, I like it. It's pretty, because you see so many different kids.
Yeah.
But,
So how long? So what is it a full day?
well, most of the time I work like a 7 and a half and 8 very seldom I work less than that.
Okay.
The kids, there's certain groups of kids and depending on where they're set,
Okay.
and then that's the stuff. So if I chose, I know where to go for.
Do you want to sign in? Have to sign in if you want to speak. It's brief, if you want to talk about it. Okay.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's a Ross. Hey Ross, you want to speak, you have to sign in. Want to speak, you have to sign in.
Okay. Brad? Brad.
Oh, he's on the agenda.
Okay, you're on the agenda.
Yeah, he's on the agenda. for the fire department.
And then I had some gas from church. So it's that's 3 shirts.
I'm sorry, I should probably.
I didn't say it, I'm not gonna go in back.
We want to get to dinner, I'm about that.
We just have to put on what you want to talk about.
Yeah, just a hunger for you, yeah. I'll let you talk now.
Fire Creek.
People.
Huh?
People. Okay.
We got meeting tomorrow night's another meeting.
I guess guess it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to let the council have a few minutes to look over last month's minutes.
Mhm.
Okay, has the council had enough time to look over last month's minutes?
Yes.
Are there any corrections? Any additions? Have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Can I have a second? All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, we have quite a few guests tonight. I think we'll start with, I don't know, does Ross or
Yep.
Ron wanna speak?
Well, I'm here on behalf of Pike Creek Township,
Okay,
so, and I think you're aware of the 140th,
yes.
culvert issues that we have. And I don't know if I can approach you guys and just kind of share with you guys what we're looking at.
but we did address some ideas, and I think you might have got something from Helen regarding.
Yes, Helen.
So what we're proposing to you guys, that we'd be willing to take on the construction of this and a shared cost that we would address. I mean, we're half and half on the road. I don't know if you guys how you wanna consider that, but we gotta get something taken care of. But,
How many culverts are you talking?
we're talking probably 2 to 3. But we wanna dig one of them out, and we use the guy that's in our township, Noble, and we wanna expose it and just take a look at it.
What size culverts and what do you
Well,
need
we'd
to
be
put in
looking
there?
at, well, these two are 24s, and I think we'd upgrade, you know where the ditch is at here?
Yep.
I think we would wanna upgrade to 30-inch, just giving you a heads up.
Sure, a lot of water
Just to
goes-
get a lot of water through, so it doesn't get over the top of the road anymore. And then we have this one back here too,
Oh,
so,
yes, yeah, I know, yeah, okay.
So-
Where are these at?
just on 140, here, I'll be sure, I'm sorry. So what we're looking at is here, here, and here.
So there's
So
three
this
of
is,
them.
you know where Low-Shiner's at?
Yep,
That's,
yep.
so,
Yeah, we
so
went to
from
that last-
there, so it's Rutson's
Yep.
is on the, so what I'm proposing is that we would take care of getting the construction done and also, you know, placing them.
Yep.
So our thought is that, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but we would, you know, share in the cost. 'Cause I did talk to your blade man, I said, don't put any more gravel on here until we get these dug up, because we have an issue too, so I mean,
Yeah.
and before we get any more potential problems with flooding or anything like that, I'd like to,
Okay.
so. And Ron's our road boss, Ron, I think everybody knows Ron, but, so,
You're thinking this spring, right?
yes, we're gonna, we wanna get this hammered out. Because we had ruts there, and he wanted it taken care of as soon as possible, so we said that we'd address it, but I wanted to come here and just share with you guys what our thoughts were.
Do you have any idea what the cost would be?
No, but I'll get that for you.
Yeah.
Because I think, did you order them yet, the culverts? Okay.
So there would be 2 30-inch culverts, and then what would that other?
Well, I have to dig it out first. I don't know. All I know is when Soil and Water
Yeah.
did our culvert inventory for our township, they marked these as potential issues. And so that's my goal, is to rectify the issue, and hopefully we can come up with something that everybody's happy with, because, you know, it's like anything else, you don't want to keep water issues, you know, because
Yeah.
it's eventually going to affect the road, it's going to affect safety. And if you go out there, you can see our barricades are out there and so forth, so we've been just trying to,
So they're not big enough, and are they rotting out?
yeah,
Okay.
yep, and one actually collapsed. Actually, we were out there and we addressed it with the barricades, and then your blade operator came out there and took care of it. And we just, I mean,
Okay.
blended it in as much as we could, but I mean, there is a safety issue there. So if somebody's ever go off the road.
Okay, I think we should make a motion to accept half of the expense if we get the,
Yes, we'll get you a bid. I don't know right off the top of my head, but I just wanted to come to you guys
Yeah.
first and make sure that you guys are okay with it before we proceeded with
Yeah,
it. I mean, we know we have to address it in some fashion, so.
Yeah, I know, it's gotta be fixed for safety reasons
Yeah.
and for the future too. You want
Yeah.
it big enough so you don't have that.
Yeah, and we,
Instead the water coming over the road next to it. So, okay.
I don't know if you guys have any further questions, but I mean,
Not any further
Ron, you can chime in too.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Also, another thing was cleaning the ditches.
Yeah, on Ritz's side,
How I was gonna proceed with that.
because it might affect the construction that we're gonna end up doing too, so like I said,
Can you,
Any
Yes,
approaches about cleaning the ditches?
can you guys, oh, it's already, next month, it's May already. Can we wait that long, or? Because we would like to have
Yeah,
a
I mean-
bid, like even cleaning how much of a ditch we have to clean?
Oh, we have to wait till the water's done. We
Yeah, I
have to-
know that, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that would be our suggestion.
But how far of the ditch by Ritz do you have to clean?
Well, we don't know until we get, yeah.
You take a swipe with a backhoe or
Yeah.
excavator and throw it back out in the meadow. But my question is, if we clean the ditches along the road, who cleans the ditch going up his meadow? Does he do that, or are we responsible for that, or?
Because meadow going, you mean going east?
it'd be going
If
to
we go north.
north, out of there, there's a ditch there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, if that was done by,
That's not Flensburg, is it?
Yeah, but that's.
no, that'd be us, but again,
Yeah.
I don't know if there was something that was for you guys to drain your water through there. That's the only reason why I'm asking, is there easement through there, just so if we have to clean that out, just we have a better understanding that if, you know, cause if we're draining water of yours through there, we would like to, you know, look at, you know, cleaning that up a little bit too, as we put the culverts in, cause at that time, you know, the backhoe there.
Can we have Kenny's our road man? Can
Okay.
he kind of go with you on the
Yes.
day?
Yeah,
and-
Dad, just give me a call.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, let me get your phone number, I don't, if you could throw that on the back, that'd be wonderful.
And then, can we have some sort of bid so we know?
Yes,
what
yeah.
we're looking at?
We can talk to Jamie Doble and we'll get, and then we know what the culvert price, we get them through the county, so.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Is, you have a preference on culverts? We've been using plastic.
last a little longer.
Yeah, I think where the water sits in constantly, they last. Might be a buck or two higher, but, no,
Are they pretty strong?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And-
Are they as strong as the steel ones?
Yes,
Okay, Calvin.
yeah, yep, they are, well,
Stronger?
oh, yeah.
No, that's
They're corrugated, they're like corrugated, they're,
Okay.
they're heavy duty.
Okay, so how should we do this? Table it till next?
Yeah, we'll get the information to you and then you can disseminate it amongst, you know, everybody here and then just get back to us and we can schedule it. I just want to address the issue before it gets out of hand, so.
Okay, yes, okay,
we can have the prices of the culverts tomorrow if, you know, if you really want them back quick. That's
Yeah,
about quality
good.
price.
well, we're gonna have to do it, so, you know.
And the backhoe.
We'll just have to talk to Doble. I think that's the easiest, just to have him run out here and take a look at it and get a hold of
So,
you. And you can,
we would split the cost 50-50 on the culverts and that, then the ditches, we have to look at, see these ditches, who.
yeah, but as long as that you can find out if you have an easement through there, just so that we don't impede on something you guys are doing. So that, I don't know if you guys keep your records or how, but if there's, you know, usually they'll have like a drainage easement through, and if, you know, if it's a water that's coming out of, you know, your city, it's gonna be, we need to address, so.
But on the other side of that road, that's Culvert, right,
On the west is 70th.
on the west. Okay. But it's-
So that'd be like, you know, where Butch Zimmerman lives,
Okay.
up that road,
Yeah,
that would be a, you know, totally different township.
right,
So-
okay, oh, I see, okay. Oh, how about we table it till you guys get us more information and then we
Okay.
can.
If
put
he
it
wants
on
to
the-
come back, we're more than welcome to, so.
Okay. Well, we'll put it on next month's agenda,
Okay.
and May would still be, maybe be dried up.
Oh, yeah.
And,
I hope so.
okay, well, thank you guys.
Thank you, yep.
Okay. Okay, and, let's see, who else? Brad,
Pretty going.
you have some things to say, or should we wait till the meeting? agenda? You wanna just wait, we'll get, thanks you guys for coming.
Thank you.
I think we'll go with, Beth.
I'm gonna listen to Robin here first. He might answer some of my questions, and I may have more questions after I listen.
Okay, Robin Hensel.
Well, I'm gonna choose to sit because it's more comfortable.
Okay, you got down here the state auditor's report, and
Yes.
that's all that you will be able to talk about.
Okay,
And we're gonna give you 2 minutes.
okay. I hope he didn't get more than that. I wanna ask everyone seated in front of me if you have read this document thoroughly. It's 110 pages.
I'm gonna tell you truthfully, no, I didn't, because I got other things that I have to do too, so no, I have not.
I have,
Right, but you're not a counselor, right?
no,
Were you ever a counselor here?
no.
Okay. Anybody else up there read any, even part of this document?
I read part of it, yes, but not the whole thing.
Well, the state auditor came down here,
Yeah.
the gentleman in charge of the audit came through and we had a meeting with him. He came through and went through the report with us.
And was everybody seated in front of me at that meeting?
Yes, they were.
I was not, I just
No,
started, I
Amber
just
was not,
started,
she was not on the council at that
I
time,
just started 2 months ago.
because she just started in
Yes,
February.
yeah. thank you for that, Marguerite. Yeah, we went through the whole thing with them on that, on that meeting. Yes.
Okay. Well, I have a fairly short synopsis. I don't know if I can get through it in 2 minutes though. But I want to just say this. I don't live here. I'm not a taxpayer here. But I'm really troubled by everything in this report. And so should everybody seated in front of me be. And Mayor, the fact that you haven't read this document in its entirety,
I told you we've been through it with them. He came down here, he went through every bit of that with us.
right?
In that meeting.
But the fact that
Well, you went through it with them over the phone, on the phone conference, that 4-hour phone conference.
Yeah.
That was done too.
the fact that you guys are running this city and you don't know what's in this document is really troubling
I just
as an
told
outsider.
you, Robin, he came down here and we went through every bit of that document. Yes, we do. Amber, I don't think you were here, but the rest of us, yes, we went through that whole document.
Okay, well, one of the most troubling things is that the taxpayers in this city spent $14,650 of their hard-earned money on taxes and got nothing for it. And that was because of late fees and penalties because the city clerk wasn't doing her job. The city clerk, obviously, if the city clerk is the only one handling the books here since 2011, really has messed up.
Well, there's
And-
more to it than what you know.
Well, can I ask a question? Is there anybody that's touched the books or had anything to do with the financial ledger, the general ledger of the city, or balancing the checkbook, the one checkbook that is for Flensburg, or any of the other financial transactions? Is there someone helping Margurite, is what I'm asking.
Yes,
And who would that person be?
that would be Luann, who helps overlook everything that the clerk does.
But that's just been recently. That wasn't during 2016 and 17.
Well, I don't even know if Luann, and I wasn't was I the mayor back then? Because I've been the
No,
mayor now.
not when I took over.
Okay. And Luann, I don't know if you were on the council back
I
then?
was on the council.
Okay. We had a totally different mayor and that back then.
Well, what really bothers me is that it doesn't seem like the clerk is qualified to hold the job of clerk. Someone who can't balance or
That's gonna
reconcile a
be-
checking
I'm
account.
giving you more time than I'm allowing you, and that's gonna be addressed tonight.
Okay, well, if I'm at my 2 minutes, then my time is up. But
Over your 2 minutes.
I just want to state that I'm really troubled as an outsider, and I think that everybody in the city should be present at this meeting tonight. All the taxpayers should be here.
I agree with you, some should be here, but they don't show up, so it's an open meeting, so anybody can come. So, Marguerite?
I would like to make a comment in regards to your remark about that the $14,000 is my fault, the fees and late fees. That is not strictly the city clerks. Our city went through some very financial hardships as we had the Flensburg Municipal Liquor Store. And the cash flow for the cities, and that has been stated in our audits about the cash flow and the draining that. So was I to write out checks for things to get them paid when we did not have the funds? Would that have been the way it should have been handled? It was not my situation that, or anything as far as my job as a clerk, that whether or not there was money available for the city to pay some of the very delinquent things that were there when I took over the position. And so I want to make that clear, that I think your comment to say that it's my fault that the city paid all of that is unfair.
And I would agree with Marguerite, our clerk, so. Okay, I'm gonna go into Beth. Beth, what do you got?
I read that audit online, it's available there. I think you should read it. If you haven't read it, you may have discussed it, but what is in that document, and I am a taxpayer here, is concerning. And so if you don't know how it is presented and how they stated it, you really need to take a good look at it because it looks very damning.
I'm gonna tell you, just like I told Robin, we had the guy down here and we sat in this meeting till
But
10
read the
o'clock.
documentation.
He went through that document, every page we went through that document. So we've been through it. I've
And
been
so
through it
all
twice
of
and the
those
council been
things
through it
from-
once.
that were addressed in quotes have been fixed then. And the 2018 audit should look much better than the 16 and 17 audit.
Yeah. Everything's on track.
Because there was quotes in there about fixing the things, all the problems that were
Everything in that
there.
audit that they gave us, the sheets to entries that had maybe been made incorrectly. And some of that is because of the fact that, you know, we don't use the same account numbers. You know, we have a new system now that has, you know, so those adjustments were all made to the entries. If it went to sewer, and it should have been to garbage or those kinds of things. All those things. The other thing about that audit that they spoke to us about is that much of an audit that they complete is the standard statement in all audits. So some of the things that you are reading and that he explained to us, those are not necessarily concerning or specifically to us. They are things that are written in all audits that they perform, is what we were told twice over the phone conference and here.
Then you should kind of read it like I stated, actually read it.
I've looked at that audit. I've been over that audit with them page by page.
Because a lot of it was talking about even within the cash payouts through the municipal. I know the liquor store had tons of problems. I know it did. And I know that business. And I know it's hell. You know, and I do not diss any of that. But a lot of things that are in there don't cut it the way you're portraying it.
What are
because
you,
it's-
I guess,
Because
what are
I
you
don't have it
referring
right
to?
in front of me, but it's.
I mean, there were
as far
obviously
as,
some things then that you.
Payouts to vendors, were not the same as far as what you said. But you're talking 110 pages, and for me to sit there and point at it here, as far as like, there were several different vendors that payouts to those vendors didn't jive within what the vendors were saying. And that's what I was reading. And so
I'm gonna
that's.
give you another minute and then we're gonna go on.
And with that being said, being that the audit itself in 2016 and 2017, now I'm reading in there that we're not hearing about how much aid Flensburg's gonna get for the sewer and stuff. Is that gonna come into play? I mean, because the books, we've been continuously losing money year after year after year. And things have not been quote unquote handled properly. Is that going to even decrease us on getting what kind of aid we're gonna get and possible not be as eligible at all? for
Okay,
it?
I gave you more than a minute, so, okay, thank you. Now we're gonna go on. We're going to go.
John, can I just make one more
Sure.
comment in regards to that? Where you stated the LGA or the sewer and the LGA, you know, as far as not getting that funding. What you read in the minutes was the LGA hearing that John went to. A portion of our LGA funding, 1/2 year of that, was held back because of the audit was late.
Okay.
So John went to the hearing. That has nothing to do with the bonding issues where sewer is concerned. I mean, where you said that, you know, now will that, you know, conflict with us getting the bond or the sewer money? That is not, our LGA money is given to us every year. Our audit, our work has already been submitted this year for our required reports to the state auditor. Those are already completed this, you know, for 2018 and sent to the auditor. The bonding issue is a totally different issue, which you misread when you read the minutes, that it was LGA. That is not LGA money. Our LGA money is coming to us this year because we've already met the requirements. So we will receive our LGA money.
And,
I just want to clarify that because it was misconstrued in the minutes already. And so I want that, it should be cleared up.
And we are gonna be talking about the legislative report. We got that down on the agenda, so. Okay, we're gonna go on, Okay, we got the fire department report, Brad?
Yeah. We just did some trainers last month. I tried to get the stuff back on from every science so we can get it.
Hey, what kind of training did you do?
We did fire flow path, and ventilation stuff. Okay, we had a teacher come in, and then there was another Saturday, I had some guys go through the punker, pumping water and stuff. I got 2 new guys that are going through firefighter 1 and 2 this fall. There's gonna be a class in Little Falls. I thought there's gonna be a 3rd guy, but he never made it to the last meeting, so it's possible. And if you know anybody else that wanna join.
So how many members do you have?
17 right now.
17,
Yep.
you always like about 18, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
And
But you picked up 2 new ones just lately?
they've been on for a little over a year,
Okay.
but we haven't had a class close for them.
and who would that be?
Matt Rutz and Paul Foch.
Don't know. Do you know?
Is it okay?
That's-
Foch.
yeah, Foch. And then the other thing is, I know baseball's gonna be starting, we were spraying water out there. Was there another good spot we can go spray water when we wanna practice stuff? I mean, we're gonna plug up a road there, I don't know if we should just go down, try to do it by the sewer, maybe a good spot?
What do you put the council, where do you think?
I don't know.
All you're gonna do is just spray water?
Yeah,
Or spray water and
Just to practice,
yeah, just practice, but I mean,
So
we
you got a
don't
big
put on a
field
ball
out there.
field, you know.
1 or 2 trucks?
Man, it can be, might be more sometimes.
Okay.
I know we used to do it where the post office is, but that's there now, so I don't know if we really want to, we should go into the parking lot and spray on the other side of that.
On the other side, yeah.
Yeah,
On the other side there, or you could go on the way to the sewer out there.
Yeah.
You know, that road, you could spray on that.
yeah. Other than that, when is, we got some stuff to get rid of in the fire halls and stuff for cleanup day, what day is that?
April 27th.
27th.
And there are fires in the post office.
You talk about a permit,
Yeah, do I need one, put a
Oh.
new roof on?
new roof on the,
House, my house.
oh, your house.
We talked, Brad called me about a permit for his house, which is, you know, he's going to steel rather than shingles. And we talked about, I mean,
We do.
That's
If
okay.
it's roof redoing with shingles, then you're not making a modification to it.
Yeah, you are. When you put new shingles on, you're still putting new shingles on.
No, you're replacing it with a new, that's just upkeep.
Shingle.
That's just upkeep.
Yeah,
If you're putting tin on or steel, that's an improvement.
it is, it's an upkeep.
Yeah, you could consider it upkeep, but it's something better.
Okay, I was just wondering.
That's the way it was
It's
explained to
upkeep.
me. That's the way it was explained to me.
Yeah.
Well, it's a kind of upkeep and an improvement all in one, so. And our permits are, whatever they were,
$50.
Yeah, I was just wondering, 50, when do you,
I think that you want to get started, so
Yeah. Do we have to have a motion to?
we could fill up, yeah.
Do we have to have a motion to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, can we have a motion to approve, Brad?
I'll make a motion on it to
I'll
approve his
second.
permit.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I'll just get it to you. I'll get it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
So you have.
Okay,
it.
right,
thank
thank
you,
you.
Brad, for
Thanks, Brad.
coming. Okay, then we have the maintenance report, okay?
Right now, nothing along the subject yet, but that'll be changing. I ordered some new blades for the lawnmower and oil and filter. I'll do that when I get it.
Okay, is that pretty much it then?
Yeah, for the maintenance. Yep.
Okay. We got the sewer report, see, Rick's not here.
Actually, everything's been flowing good. That's going good right now. There's been no problems.
Okay. Okay, city's financial report, Margurite.
Okay, you have copies of it. Those are off our new computer for the, yes. They're nice,
Is this through new software?
yes. We upgraded to the new CTAS version, which
Okay.
has had its snags, but just means a call down to the tech people to get it,
Yeah.
send it to them, and they figure it out and send you a patch to fix, because I've got a couple of ones from today that I've noticed aren't working real well. Some of the account numbering things are different, and actually I think there's a couple on here I might have to.
Soviet Alliance was
That was for a donation from the fire department. Let's see, you'll see on there, probably the one thing that's different is that $700 that we received from the state of Minnesota. And that is for police aid.
Is that something we have to?
No, we get it every year, but it does come in different amounts. Every city is allotted so much for police aid. And we, at times, get billed from the county for if they were out here on a call or something, then we'll get a bill for it. Or a portion, we're assessed a portion of it. If it's within the city resident, or city limits. Which doesn't really happen a lot. And then the one says two with it's printed on the back, because I can now print two-sided. But there really, it was on the receipts. There isn't a second page. I mean, it was just totals. There wasn't any more. The disbursement register that you have, the one from March, for the month of March, is just, those were the total, all the checks that were the expenses that we had for that month that we approved last month at the meeting. And then I did include the checks that you're signing for tonight. And those are the bills that we have so far for April, and should be it for April, actually.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve bills for this month?
I'll make a motion, we accept the receipts and disbursements for the month of March.
Can I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then, are there any new bills, Margurite, that need to be approved?
Well, just those are the ones that we're paying out there, the ones that you're doing the checks for. And that list is in there, like I said, it should show up at the top, the date range is 4/1 through today, 4/15. It's like behind your other disbursements there.
Okay, do we need to approve?
Yep,
those?
so just we need a second motion so we can
Can I
approve
have
those.
a motion to approve bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills for March.
All second. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, is that it for the city's financial report?
That's all we have, just the other thing that, that our report to the state auditor with our, our file for 2018 has been submitted to them, and
Okay.
I said that was part of the problem with the computer. It allowed me to do, it would not allow me to do both sections of the reporting thing, so then I had to get hold of them, and they found a glitch in the program that they had to then send me a patch for, and then after that it worked. So those have been submitted.
Okay. Is there anything else on the city's financial report? Any of the council has any questions? To the clerk?
No.
Okay. And then we're gonna go on to the legislative report. And like Margurite said, I went down to St. Paul to meet with our state legislative committee. about our LGA money, and that came over to be 15,000, what was that, I gotta find it here.
125 cents.
15,125.
It was $15,125, and I talked with them probably, sat in front of the committee for probably about 2 minutes. And there was on the agenda, there was 10 other cities, I was the 11th city on the agenda. So by the time they got to me, everybody was pretty bored, you know, so. But anyway, we went in front of them, and I sat with Ron Kresha, he helped, and we should be getting our LG money in the month of May then, so. Does anybody else have anything, any questions, council, on that?
No.
Anybody else have anything on the legislative report? Buddy? Andrew? Brad? No. Okay. Okay, then we're gonna go to the old business, cleanup day. Cleanup day is April 27th, Flensburg. And then, I don't know, you gave me that list, Marguerite, what we can. And then we're gonna have SW recycling coming.
They will come to pick up our those recycling items that we have with the charges, and that's why on the, you know, and every year I know that we put on there that we're not accepting electronics and things. We really need to stick to that because the prices for recycling things, I mean, it's like $25. So, I mean, I don't know how we can monitor, you know, because what we've had, the trouble in the past has been by the time we, you know, open it at 8 o'clock, we already have a bunch of things left sitting there.
They gonna kind of, like last year, I liked that when they came and they were sitting there and then we could load it up right away because there's been a few years where it sits there and then you come back and there's things added to the pile, you know, which isn't, you know, right.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too. I've heard many complaints of stuff just sitting at the fire hall for too long. And
Well, the only
if
year
we're
that
at
that
the
has
mercy-
happened was the year that, because the county, Chuck Parents from the county, the land service office who does he's with the public works, he handles and does the scheduling for when SW recycling comes to us. I don't call to schedule that, he takes care of that for us, and he missed us on the list.
Okay.
And so, yeah, when they didn't come, you know, he had said, well, they probably are just a few days late, or because they had some others, and then finally it was, you know,
Somebody dropped the ball.
that he hadn't contacted them.
Yeah.
Because, and then when I just called them directly about it then, and they came out like the next day, I think, and got it out of there.
Last year, they took it when we were done.
Right,
Perfect.
Yeah.
but it
last
depends
year-
upon, because sometimes they have 3 or 4 places, you know, but, you know.
So that this year, we're not gonna take TVs
We're
and
not taking
computers.
TVs, it's $25, I think, for a TV or something to, you know,
Well, when you're saying electronics, basically it's TVs, stereos, PCs, laptops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
the county has a day where you can recycle computers and those kinds of things. They have a couple of times a year that you can actually go in and recycle your,
You can
It's
go to
actually-
Best Buy,
It's free too. or
and it's free, like computers or any printers, anything like that.
Well, what if
And
they
they'll just-
bring in a TV and they wanna pay for it? You know, pay,
Well,
and that'd be.
those are your charges, you know, as far as what it costs for any of those other items.
Yeah.
You know, the washers, dryers, refrigerators, that don't have Freon in, I think Freon ones are $25.
Okay, well, here it says free on $10, air conditioning, dehumidifier, drinking fountain, freezers, refrigerators, soda machine, water coolers. So they would all be, they brought them in, like refrigerators, which we get a lot of, would be $10, then we're gonna get rid of it.
If they have Freon.
How do you get
How do you know?
Because most of them have
Now,
Freon.
with
I mean, we're
cooling, yeah.
These were
Most
cool.
of them would have, right?
Air conditioners, yeah.
Because you have to certainly allow Freon on.
these are only things up here that.
And I know that, you know, that one year they had said, oh, we'll just take them, you know, we've got somebody that'll pick them up.
Okay, well, we'll have to.
I guess we just have to be a little, I mean, because if we get a lot of it, you know, the grant money that we get is gonna get, because we get a lot of trash that already, you know, because the grant was $1,225 for,
Bunch of tires was on there, yeah.
Tires on there, tires on there, how much do they, but they gotta pay for them, right?
Car tires, 5, pickup tires, 6, tractor tires, 16, off-road tires.
Cause we do 2 free or whatever.
right, we give them
Yep.
2 free and then, but it went up because it used to be $2 per car tire, now it's 5,
Yeah, right.
What are the hours gonna be?
8 till 10.
Okay,
And we'll all be there for that usually, or?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice, the whole place is there, yes. Okay, and then schedule for April 27th. Okay, estimate for a storage shed, that's over here. And, well, the weather's been so not very good, so Randy Becky, I told him to call me up when the weather's better, then he'll come out and give me a bid here.
Okay.
Okay. And then, okay. Okay, the city office. The auditor said we should have a city office, which we know that, but we didn't have the funds to do it. But I was thinking, can't we just go up to this building over here? We got this door over here, the door over here, and make a nice, you know, big enough office so it's, you know, and it's gotta be handicap accessible. So if we can, you know, we came right off this door here, and then, you know, we already have the, you know, the plumbing, bathrooms and that, so we wouldn't do, but in a bathroom or anything, just put out a nice, building out here so she can, you know, desk and whatever for the clerk in there, have it big enough, so,
Convenient.
yeah.
Would that be better than having it at the fire department, do you think?
Yes, because my wife, we kind of talked about, and she had a good point where those trucks come in and out, you got that diesel smell in
Yeah.
there, you know, that's just not good. But if we had it here, then we wouldn't have to, you know, what would make a good office? I don't know. I know mine is 10 by 12, but, you know, you get things in there and then that's not so big. So I think we should go a little bit bigger than that, you know, a little bit wider, a little bit longer.
You're probably talking $20,000 to do that, huh?
Think so?
Well, by the time you cement it out, get electricity,
Probably
build it.
But you know what, we need a city office, and auditor, they said that, I'd like to have city all in one place, not in someone's home, it's gotta be all in one place. We need to look at something, so.
Yeah. We'll do have the furnace already in the bathroom, so that would help.
Well, I think we should, I'll get a bid, and if you want to get a bid, and then, next meeting, we can
It's pretty hard to get rid without kind of a plan.
Yeah, we need a drawing.
get, well, we should come up with something, and,
Is it, the best location is gonna be adding on here somewhere? Or there's here? I mean, there's no other options, right?
there's other options, like you could build it separate, but then you need, plumbing,
It's gonna be
and,
more, right, so.
wherever you have plumbing, you're gonna need a well, so.
Right.
I think this would be the best option, because we got everything, right, we got the well, everything right here, so.
So anybody who gives us a bid, they should know construction well enough to know how that's gonna work for us.
Or if
there's
you give it
better-
the sizing, give us a ballpark.
Yeah.
Does the office have to be enclosed? I mean, you know what I mean? Can't we just put a desk somewhere in
We
here?
got, like, city documents and that should be
To be able to
under lock and key.
Yeah, under lock and key. We'd save money too.
You don't want it in here with all the
No.
memories we have.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a separate room.
Yeah,
You'd have to build a wall. Yeah.
I don't think we wanna cut this down anymore.
No.
Well, if you get a bid, I'll get a bid, and Brad, would you wanna get a bid? Well,
Yeah.
What about Brad, does Brad Karski still do?
No, he doesn't.
do it?
No.
Well, I'll talk to Randy, come Becky and Kenny and Brad if you got two guys.
What are you
in
thinking,
them.
12 by 12 then, or what, just for?
I think we better go a little bit bigger because you have to have accessible for a wheelchair to get in the door. It doesn't mean they have to run around the room. They have to be able to get in the door and then turn around and go back out. So,
You talking about the door over here?
yep, this door right here, yep.
Not that one, this one over here.
This one.
Right by the bathroom.
Yeah.
Handicap accessible, that means sidewalk has to be put in all the way.
That sidewalk's gotta be at a certain grade. Okay,
What's the
And-
size? What is the size?
I think we better go. We should go at least 16.
We're gonna need extra storage.
Yeah.
We have
Filing
quite a few,
We have storage in the back of the fire hall is where we have it now.
we don't wanna move everything.
There's plenty of room in there with the storage, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, we basically will need, a desk and a file cabinet, a chair for,
We gotta come up with a plan first, right?
Yeah,
Let's just come up with a plan first.
yeah, let's do that. Let's
Do what?
come up with a plan. Yeah. Okay. New business culverts, we took care of that. The auditor took care of that.
no, that is in regards to last month we had talked about, you had said that, was it the league that had said that we needed to get, here an auditor for,
Oh,
our
that's right,
any
yeah.
upcoming audits.
Yeah, you're right.
And
yeah.
so, I had said I would contact that Brian Keene that we had talked to last year, was it last year, or the year before, last year when we were looking for someone to
To do our audits.
to do the audits, and so he is very interested. In fact, he said, he had told us when we talked to him last time, I think you and I met with him
Mhm.
here, that, it was just too much. He didn't have room for us on his calendar last year, but that in the future he would be interested. And so he did say that, yes, he is. And so he would get us, the council has to decide to move forward, if we want to move forward with him. If you want to talk to I know the city of Gray Eagle uses him. He does school districts. He does, I think he said 12 small cities audits for them. And so he said that, of course, he would not be able to, give us a firm amount right now what an audit would cost. He said the applied upon procedures, those types are, he said could be from $2,000 to $5,000. He said, when I explained to him now that the city really, most months are 10 to 12 checks a month is all that we, that the bills now without the city, without the liquor store are minimal, and that, so, he said you could kind of figure it'd probably be like $2,000 to $5,000.
Now we don't have an audit, now we can get by 5 years. without an
Right, they
audit.
will pick any time out of the 5 years. They can, the state decides what year they want to, want an audit for.
Should we look into any other CPAs and table it for another one? Because we gotta get an auditor to,
Well, we
confirm
had talked
do-
to how many that we called last year that just had no room for us, and, I mean, knowing that he does cities of our size and things like that, he's been in business for 21 years, he's not a new person.
I think you're talking about good experience. School districts are pretty big. They handle more money than Flensburg. I think we should just stick with this Brian Keene.
Okay, well, we'll need a
Try.
motion.
Give him a try at least.
Yeah. Well, we need a motion to hire Brian Keene to do our audits for the city.
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carries, okay. And we'll get a hold of him and let him know then. Okay. Okay, we've got additional cleanup day grant.
There's another grant available to the city. Chuck Parents had called me in regards to, it's an additional $375, but I'm just looking, $375 that we will be getting. I got the forms from him and then had John sign it so that we could get it submitted in for it. So that'll be another $375 that we're going to receive for that. And a lot of that can be used for our advertising expense with the thing, because we'll put an ad in the record and the posters and such. But then that we can use it towards the rest of the grant money. We're only required to do a cleanup once every 2 years in the future. And if there's additional funds from this grant money that's given to us from the county, it's just ours to, for operating whatever wherever we see fit. Most years we come out right about break even with it. The 1 year when we had to pick up all those items, all that sheetrock and stuff out of that one yard, we were a bit short that year from what we had received in grant money, but typically it runs real close as far as what we get for our grant money and what we pay out for what we collect that day.
Okay, anybody got any questions for our clerk on that grant? Okay, then building permits. We have
I have 2 of them here for approval. Is there? Have one for Paul and Annette Lane for building a new house. So that is the attached blueprints. They'll be tearing down the existing house and building a new home, a patio home on the property.
we'll go this way first. So look at that for
There are no concerns there as far as the setback from the road because it's 300 and some feet from the gravel road.
Jack's going where the old one was now.
What's that?
It's going where the old house is.
Right.
Yeah.
I let them know that we do not grant the sewer permits. They have to get those through the county, but they just put in a new sewer last year, so they
should be okay.
shouldn't have to get a new sewer permit. Or they'll have it, they still have to have it, the current one inspected, but shouldn't be a problem with it.
In the city, the only inspection we need is electrical. Is that true?
Yeah, you don't, your city sewers, you don't need to have
Even
it.
plumbing and none of that, basically it's just electrical has to
Nobody
be.
has to.
That's what it, when I did the room there, that's all I had to do, it hasn't changed yet?
No.
Okay.
Do I have to sign this, Margurite?
What's that?
Do I sign this?
Yep. You get a motion to approve it first
Okay,
and
do
then,
we have a motion to approve the Paul and Annette's new
Motion to
home?
approve.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Let's sign right here.
You want it here? That's right, I said. This one, someplace too?
yeah.
You want that to be?
This is your,
Yeah, yeah, when I got home and fill it out, then I'll, yep.
I'll give it back to you. more permits, Marguerite?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the city clerk position. At this time, I'm gonna be closing the meeting per Minnesota statute section 13D.01, subdivision 3, to discuss the city clerk position. Discussion in the closed meeting will include accepting resignation, asking the clerk to step down, and to plan for the replacement of the clerk position. And I need a motion from the council to close the meeting.
I make a motion to close the meeting.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries. So then at this time, I'm gonna ask everyone to step out. And
Are you reopening the meeting after the closed meeting?
yes, we probably will be. But
Huh.
I need you to step out at this time.
Right, so you'll let us know, you'll come to the door then
Yes,
to,
yes. I will let
okay,
you know. Yeah.
right.
Can I have a motion to reopen the meeting?
Make a motion to reopen the meeting.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Okay, motion carries. Okay, the closed meeting was to discuss the clerk's position. Can I have a motion from the council on what was decided in the meeting?
Make a motion.
Have a second? All in favor? Anybody against? Okay, motion carries. Okay, the council will accept resignation, but I have asked that Marguerite will stay on until we have a new clerk in place. Luann and Amber will be accepting oversight of the clerk position. And then we will be putting an ad in our city's legal paper for the clerk's position, Morrison County Record. And at this time, I would like to thank Marguerite for all her years of service to the city of Flensburg. And any
I also.
anybody else?
Thank you, Marguerite.
Okay, at this time, we're going to set a date for our next meeting, and that is
May 20th.
May 20th. Then can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Have
Second.
a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Okay, motion carries.
I was explaining to Otto.
The meeting is over.
No, this is just, can you just explain to me so I know exactly how,
The meeting is over.
well, I was just wondering about,
The meeting is over.
where could you tell me what the
The meeting is over.
the diameter
You're out
of
of order.
Flensburg
The
is?
meeting is over.
The meeting's over, you can't tell her she's out of order.
The meeting is over.
But she's not out of order, she's in a public meeting, talking to a person in the public.
Well, see, and that's it, that's what I was explaining, is that.
I think
know, a lot
you
of
needed
the
to
city
publish
is not
ahead of time
the
that
city
there was
is
gonna be a
not-
closed
The
meeting.
meeting is over.
Right, but I'm just
I
suggesting
told
to
you,
you,
and that's the last time I'm gonna tell you, the meeting is over.
I think next time you guys should probably learn the rules a little bit better, because you had a legal responsibility to
Well,
publish
I'll
if
tell
there
you
was gonna
one
be a
thing,
closed
everybody on
meeting.
this council is a volunteer. So,
You
take
put
that
the
in
statute on
consideration.
the closed meeting thing, we followed that by order.
Where was the announcement of the fact that there was gonna be a closed meeting? I didn't see it
There's
There
anywhere.
was
not have
there
to
was
be
a
an
portion of the meeting that closed. You only
not
have to,
have
if
to
you're
be.
having a closed meeting to discuss issues, you can close the meeting, refer to the statute, you have it recorded. And we followed it by order.